The Dorm Disorder podcast contains real stories, adult language, and occasional chaos. Some content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Now on to the episode.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another week of the Dorm Disorder podcast. Look, as always, like, follow, subscribe, send this to your friends. Get us a couple more viewers. We would like to spread this journey to everybody that has participated in boarding school in some way or another. So send it to your friends. We're back for another week, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good, Mike. I'm doing good. Everybody, welcome to the Dorm Disorder podcast. I'm so glad you guys could join us. So what's been going on, man? I know you had a hectic week, so.
It was probably the craziest work week I ever had. It's been so crazy that Tyler even left the TV on and we're staring at ourselves.
I
had to just say it because it was going to get crazy.
A little distracting, yeah.
Nice little edit point right there.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
just leave it in. Why not? What happened to you this week? What's going on?
So, I got a kid that's getting ready to study abroad, so we're trying to get some stuff
trip.
together. So, listen, I love my kid very, very much, but absent-minded as I don't know what. Saturday, we got up, we're like, yo, we got to get to the bank. We got to open this account for you to make sure we're able to access and give you money that you need when you're in Rome. I said, you got everything? I got everything. I'm like, you sure? I'm positive. Took him forever to get his shoes on. We walk out the door. Bank's only open for about 30 more minutes. We walk in, we sit down, and this boy does not have his ID. Are you kidding me right now? Oh my God.
See, this is why you should have spent some more time in the Army. Because you need to have a layout. You put down everything in front of Dad that you need, and then you take it, you put it in your pocket, and if you touch it, I break that hand again. That's what you got to do.
Yo, the lady was like, we just need your state ID. His face was like, and I already knew. I didn't have to ask him. I looked at my wife. I looked at Jill, and I said, and she's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "He don't have his ID." And the bank teller looked at him. "You don't have your ID." "Don't have my ID." So guess what? We didn't get him an account. He's got to go back on Monday.
I'm gonna break the fourth wall here for a second. Jill, who is this child take after, you or his father?
Neither one of us.
There you go, folks. Neither parent is taking claim to this child's absent-mindedness. It happens sometimes. You look at a kid, you're like, well, where does that trait come from? And you got to go back a couple generations. It's probably grandma, grandpa, It happens like that sometimes, man.
Absolutely. But that was my weekend in a nutshell.
Well, we've got a great guest scheduled for everybody the next two episodes. Please allow me to introduce from the class of
1968.
1968.
Yeah.
Say
Ron
what now?
DeChristoforo. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the show.
Well, you guys are great for the invitation. I've been tracking your other podcasts. They're fun, lively, sneak in a few funny things and also some smart things. So it's good to be here. Appreciate it.
We do what we can, but thank you so much for that. That was a wonderful compliment. I appreciate that. But thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Well, we start every episode off with just talking about how it is that you came to Girard College.
Well, and we all know this from Girard, and that's probably your son would have never done that if he had been through Girard.
Correct.
We didn't have much, but we knew where it was, and it
Yes.
never left our sight, really. Well, the way I now look at it after all these years is you get a common question just as an adult in an environment. It's like, well, where'd you go to school?
Right.
And that triggers a little bit of panic in me because either I'm going to take the coward's way out and say, oh, yeah, I went to school in Philly. and hope that's the end of it. Because soon as you even say Girard College, it's like, what, it was a college? And
Yeah.
that triggers all of that.
Yeah.
But even once you're past that, it's a long story.
Yeah.
And you don't know where to begin. But for us, we begin at the beginning.
Right.
And it's always that that first day seems to have just impenetrable resonance. In fact, I've heard that on your podcast. The first day, day one, keeps coming up.
Yep.
And why wouldn't it? And it was impressive and life-changing. Our lives changed at that moment. So I was 7 in 1958, and like Dan, I put in 10 years, and that was very common then. And there was a cutoff. You couldn't get into Girard after the age of 10.
Right.
So we were all pretty much young kids. But probably what's most impressive about that is, and in the beginning of my book, a friend of mine wrote this for me, and he didn't know I wanted to include it in the book. But he said the 2 worst days of my life were the first day I came to Girard, having to leave home,
Yeah.
and the last day leaving Girard with my brothers behind.
Yeah.
And that pretty much, there's our bookends,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
You know, Ron, we talked about this before, but graduation day, when we're lined up in the chapel, we're in that hall and we're waiting to process in. There was always a bet who was going to cry first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all had that bet. And sure enough, there was always somebody that started it. And for our class, it was somebody that I didn't think was going to cry at all because I didn't think he cared. But he
Yeah.
started and the woodwork started. And I tried to keep my head straight because I didn't want to look at anybody crying so that I would start crying. And it didn't work because I think there's photo evidence on the internet somewhere.
And it's
of
the
my
music too. I mean, that
Yeah.
organ starts
Yeah.
rumbling and
Yeah.
it just rattles your rib cage.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, it's a
pretty
it's
powerful
a sad
statement.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember my graduation day. I was somehow I'm one of the tallest people in my class, and I was like 5th from the back. And when that organ hit, and you just start seeing that procession happen in front of you,
Yeah.
and then the tears as they go back, each
Yeah,
person, the
yeah.
tears coming out.
Yeah.
Again, people that you never thought was going to be crying, the
Yeah.
toughest
The
people
tough
in the
guys.
world.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always waterworks, the streams was
yeah,
flowing.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think I got cleaned up just
Mm.
before I stepped out because I had this whole Macho Man Randy Savage thing I had to do
Okay.
down the aisle.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I came down now.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your time. We have our pre-discussion, and one of the biggest things that we found so interesting is how many different shop classes you guys had.
Yeah, it was that building is still standing
Yeah.
on Girard's campus. It was called the Mechanical School, which is a throwback term, but it was a marvelous curriculum. So sometime around, and I might not have this exactly right, but I want to say by 8th grade, which for us began middle school, you got to spend a year in what may have been as many as 6 or 8 different shops: drafting, printing, carpentry, electrical shop, forgetting a couple as well, machine shop where you're dealing with steel and lathes, and every one of these shops was dangerous.
Yep.
And you spent your high school years, in the morning you're doing academics, normal math stuff, college prep even. So the mechanical school wasn't like what became, I guess, in public schools, voc ed.
Right.
No, you were being trained as a professional by professionals, but that didn't exclude you from going to college. You still had your academics in the morning. So you think now, what a terrific learning experience, because eventually you had to pick a shop,
Right.
electrical shop, drafting, whatever. And then you spent the next probably 3 or 4 years every afternoon going to that shop. There were kids that came out of Girard and went right to work for the telephone company, IBM.
Yeah.
So it was a wonderful training.
You know, one of the things that we talked about also was the fact that Mr. Moore was still teaching during your time, and we
Yes,
have
he
one of
was.
these wonderful
crazy.
teachers
Yeah.
that span so many generations and kids.
Yeah.
You know, and we had a different opinion on him. Tell us what he was like back
Yeah.
then.
Well, in general, everybody at Girard was old. You know, when I got there in 1958, there were people who had been there for 40 years.
Wow.
And they were still there when I left.
Yeah.
That changed, and I think that's for a good reason. But carpentry shop, and I think it was William Moore, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, Bill Moore. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
Bill Moore. He was a serious dude, and he didn't allow for any kind of messing around, but there was a lot of messing around in spite of that, between the machines that were there, and he disliked us not taking seriously,
Right.
or taking him seriously. But it seemed like we would start out with, big blocks of wood, and everything got reduced to an ashtray, which at the time everybody was smoking. So it was the only thing useful for many of us that they came out of carpentry shop. But they were doing some beautiful, serious work, and he was working on a boat.
Oh,
So
wow.
he was building a speedboat.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was in there for years. He just kept chipping away at this thing, but that was his first love. But yeah, tough, but he didn't want to get on his wrong side, Mike.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
We didn't have as many other classes. Like we had drafting, we had machine shop, we had the wood shop. I don't think it was called
Auto
carpentry at the
shop.
time, and we had auto.
Yeah.
So it was like 4 or 5 that was there. But I remember sitting in drafting class, having to draw on this piece of paper. I'm like, I'm never ever gonna do this. This is way too boring for me.
Yeah.
I could not do that. Drafting class was brutal. But I liked the lathe and I liked all that stuff. Like learning that stuff was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was interested in drafting in my own little stupid mind. And there was a wonderful, talented man running at a time, George Schuster. And he was a great teacher, but in the back room, he was sculpting figures and painting. I mean, he was clearly a serious artist.
Yeah.
And, everyone was going through drafting at least once. And he was a very sweet, kind man, smart. And he came around and he called everybody son. We were all boys then. And he put his arm on me and he said, son, you talked to me about wanting to take drafting because you did have to they took everybody, but they wanted you to interview, see if you were serious. And I said, yeah, I think I would be great at this. And he leaned down and he said, son, you couldn't design a basketball. And to this day, I thank him for saving me the pain of all of that.
That's a great teacher.
And he was very sweet about it and encouraging. And I got out of there as soon as my gig was up. And,
That's encouragement.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's sometimes more helpful than the other kind.
Design a basket.
I'd feel bad if I don't get to ask this question because
Go ahead.
this is like a bridge question for Mr. Moore himself. Did he have his whole thumb at that time?
I didn't know that he ever lost it. So, yeah.
There it is.
Okay.
So he lost it somewhere between 58 and 96.
Yeah. All right.
Definitely missing a good about half a thumb.
Wow.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, I can see why. I mean, all those shops are dangerous. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
While we're on machine shop, just
Yeah.
the mechanical building in itself, I don't ever think I told this story on here, so I'm gonna just tell this real quick.
Oh yeah, you got to tell.
We
this
were a rambunctious class. I don't know what to say, but we had a student who was down on the main floor because the machine shop, mechanical school, what do we call it? Machine shop, whatever.
Yeah.
They had that second level.
Yep.
Right.
With the railing that went around, and then you were down the first floor. And the first floor mainly was for auto shop,
Okay.
right? So there was cars all down there. But they had this pulley chain that reached all the way to the ceiling that dropped all the way down. One of my classmates held on to that chain, and 3 of us pulled that chain up, and we pulled him all the way up to the second level, and then he climbed over, and then we got yelled at, and we all ran. We all ran outside. But
Y'all got
we
no
did
sense.
we did some dumb shit, man. I don't know what to
Boys
say,
do
but
stupid stuff.
yeah.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
I could not believe we pulled him all the way up. Or did he stay on? Like, why the hell would he let go when he first started going in the air? I don't
mean,
know.
at that point, you in it.
Yeah.
You got to go all the way.
Yeah, all
Go
the
big,
way.
go home, right?
Yeah, no way out.
No way. Well, one of the other things that we talked about was you were there during a pretty tumultuous time.
Oh yeah.
So we had, guests on earlier that talked about being the first Black students, but you got to see the lead up to these students joining Girard. And again, like every time we learn something new from, our older big brothers on this, why don't you talk about that time and let us know what that was like being inside the wall?
Well, need some context, right?
Right.
Just to say it was during the 60s, it probably brings up more wrong cliches than accurate cliches,
Right.
especially at Girard. Two things happened. I'll start at the end. When the school was integrated, Girard itself almost overnight became a different place because now it could no longer function as this cloistered, insulated institution. It hardly, and anyone in Philadelphia didn't know a whole lot about Girard College. They knew it was there. They drive by it. No one really knew what went on. But from 66 for the next really 2 years, protesters were out there. The public was out there. TV cameras. NAACP, Martin Luther King shows up in the summer of 1966. Put that in the context of cities are burning, Vietnam conflict, kids are being shot on campuses in college. It's a remarkably tumultuous time in your words, but also we're teenagers. So we're able to sort of block all that off and find your path to what? Go downtown, hang out, chase girls, all the things that a teenager needs to do.
Right.
On top of, we had our teen life at Girard, but it was, it changed everything because it was right there. You couldn't walk out the gates. And there were anywhere between several hundred to several thousand protesters.
Wow.
Starting early in the morning, went till late at night. Sound truck is out there. And amazingly, we were able, as kids can do, we were able to just incorporate that into our normal lives. And we'd walk by it, 5 times a day between dining hall, high school. So it was a remarkable period for probably 2 or 3 reasons. One was that the world came to us.
Right. Wow.
And we sort of, now there had been official lawsuits to integrate Girard College from 1954 was the first lawsuit. So we're talking over a decade, but the NAACP never let up. Good for them. I mean, they knew it's going to take time, but we'll get there. So just 2 minutes of important background. 1964, the Civil Rights Act gets signed.
Right.
And that had almost everything to do with schools in the South, but, not so fast. We had plenty of segregation in the North. No one really wanted to point that out.
Right.
But the NAACP saw we have to have some kind of linchpin event in the North because they knew the clubs were keeping Jews out, blacks out, any kind of immigrants were not allowed into certain places, bars, schools, certainly. So they wisely realized they already had this in their legal cases. We've been trying to win this case for, at that point, 10 years. The civil rights law passed, and they said, we're going to Girard College. So that's why it was chosen as really an important site. And they knew success was coming, even though who breaks somebody's will? How can you do that? What makes that possible? And what makes it possible is you can't do illegal things, whether it's in your will or not. So it was a tremendous triumph.
Well, prepping for the Reverend Owen and Ned episode and your episode, one of the things I found pretty terrible from the school standpoint is that Girard changed who was on their board. Like they set an independent board to block the initial court decision to desegregate the school. They hired 12 new people and put them on the board to block that. And I found that to be very interesting. On the school's part, it wasn't necessarily about the will, I don't think, But just wondering if you ever read that or heard that, because I think it was 64 or 66. They had already made the decision to desegregate the school. Then Girard brings this independent board in, these 12 members of the board of trustees, and they blocked it for another 2-3 years. I think.
Well, it was a last ditch effort. It was desperation.
Mhm.
And this was a sort of a combination of City Hall. I'll be nice and won't call them hacks, but they were finding their way into a very wealthy estate, because that's what the board is about.
Yeah.
Those people are making every financial decision
Here they are.
affecting Girard College.
Yep.
So it's not a sort of white tablecloth affair. These guys are deep into it. And this was an effort to stand up, and they actually said publicly in one of the newspapers at the time that we'll close the school before we'll let blacks in. What they never realized is you're just stupid. You don't have the authority to do that.
Right.
There were a lot of alumni there, and they thought, well, we went there, we'll keep Girard. Well, that was the dumbest thing they could have said publicly, and it meant nothing.
Right.
And that board was quickly reassembled, but that's another show for you guys, because it's a long, sad story.
It is.
And follow the money, as
always, right?
as Woodward and Bernstein said. Yeah.
Or Chris Tucker in Rush Hour 2, follow the rich white man.
yeah.
So we try to get something light in here, and my goodness, the story you told us, which touches to Dan's thoughts more than anything, regarding laundry.
Yeah.
Dan got there, and he's always very thankful on the show that girls showed up because they got real uniforms and real clothes.
Yes.
But little did we know how you, the big brothers, really had it. Why don't you tell us the story of what laundry was like for you guys?
Well, picture this. I mean, we got our laundry packet once a week. Clean clothes are in it. And there were only 3 pair of what we called skivvies, jockey shorts, whatever, underwear. And
3 pairs.
We didn't seem to be
sorry,
bothered by that.
I don't want to interrupt you, but
No.
just make sure.
Yeah.
Back then, you did have 7 days in a week, right?
There were 7 days
Okay.
in a week.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
We didn't really at the time have much in the way of play clothes. You know, if you weren't on a sports team, they'd throw a uniform at you. How it got laundered, and those jock straps, you could stand them up and they probably would walk away from you. So, you know, we're knucklehead kids, but at some point, probably when we started noticing girls, we realized this is a hole we're living in. It just smells, and we're the reason it smells. It was also early in the 60s, mid-60s, and we started to recognize, you know, those forces that were at the gate. We started to realize there's some power in taking on things that maybe not just affect your life, maybe others, which is what those good people were doing.
Right.
But our main political concern had to do with underwear.
And I absolutely co-sign this political concern, because the story I had was I got no underwear. But please continue.
You got 3 more than Mike got.
3 more than me.
Well, you made it through. That's the important part. So it was a political action that we realized we had to do this with students that were sort of halfway respected. And we got an appointment to see the president. And we had these large, they were probably 4 feet tall, these big laundry baskets that you lined up, threw your dirty laundry in, you got checked off. So it was a lot of thieving of dirty clothes. Which is another episode, because you wanted to show up and get the fresh bundle. But we took one of these big barrels into Dr. Carl Friedman was president of the college the whole time I was there. He had a 10-year tenure. And we're having this discussion, and we did have one rowdy kid with us, Stephen Thomas, so I give all the credit for this. So we're explaining to him, we can't live with 3 pair of underwear. You know, we're playing sports, we're running around. It's just hard. And I asked him, so how many pair of underwear do you wear a week? And then he was a grumbler. Yeah, could never look anybody in the eye. So he let that go. And then Stephen got up and he grabbed this large tub of dirty underwear and just dumped it right on his office. And that ended the meeting. It ended the conversation. But it wasn't long before we got 4 pair of underwear, which was major victory.
Progress comes in
But
steps.
we from that stupid little episode, we realized, hey, there are important things to do. We've got to stop physical punishment.
Yeah.
Why are we training in the battalion? This is ridiculous. People are dying in Vietnam War. If people want to go in the Army, fine, we need them, but we shouldn't be training kids that are. We started early, I think probably at the age of 12.
Wow.
For many kids, it was beneficial. For most of us, we were getting a sense that like war's not a good thing, man. People
Right.
die, and
Yeah.
so that was the tenor of all of that. And we were proud that we ended physical punishment. We started a student court, so the
Wow.
faculty member had an issue with a kid. They couldn't whack them. They couldn't do anything except sign it up, bring them to court, and probably dorm disorder was not yet invented as a violation. But then we had a staff of students and a faculty rep who meted out punishment. Well, you'd clean stuff up or fix things or whatever. So that was major, and it stuck.
That is crazy to me how such an important, proctor system you guys built and a student court. It just tells you that the school never wanted you to have that power because it didn't exist when we got there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That would have
Yeah.
been huge.
Yeah.
Like actually
Yeah.
being in charge of our own punishments. We had talked about things like this on trips with other boarding schools that we took.
Yeah.
But we never got something that good going. And you guys had that system going, but it didn't survive.
It
Yeah,
did.
it
Well,
did
I'm
not.
not surprised
Yeah.
because it's very threatening and it takes
Yeah.
power away from. I always years later recognized that where's the end of authority in Girard? It was exclusive. They had all the authority, and mostly they were doing their job. I give them credit for that. But when there were abuses of authority, it was severe and frightening for many kids. So we wanted to put an end to that. And with that came this notion that older students can bully younger students. That just ended. We made sure of it.
That is amazing.
So
Yeah.
kids could certainly start to grow up there and not be afraid of older kids. It seems like easy to do. And it kind of was, but you just have to take notice of these things. It's like, no.
Were your names in the 3 pair of underwear? Like, was your name like in the back of it?
They came, if I remember it's right, they came banded with a name and a number. We had student numbers then. I don't know if that
Okay.
continued. Yeah.
No, it just our names.
No,
Because
we had numbers.
Did we?
We had bin numbers on our
Okay.
underwear. It had your first initial, last name, and your bin
Yeah,
number.
sounds right.
I just
Yeah.
remember Knittel. So we didn't have a tube. We had a large in junior school. We had a big giant like Santa like sack that was
Okay.
in
Yep.
front of the room, and
Okay.
every night you had to throw your dirty clothes in there.
Okay.
And as as boys, sometimes we would dig through the laundry bags and
Yeah.
find people who didn't clean themselves right, and then
Yeah.
we would lay the
Yeah.
underwear on the floor with their name facing up.
Oh,
Yeah.
It caused a lot of fights.
Yeah.
A lot of fights.
Yeah, it is. That's a high tax to pay. If you didn't wipe your ass good, you
Yeah.
would pay a very high price if
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
found out. That
Yeah,
just
geez.
is what it is.
So,
Shows
and
you
you'd
how
see people-
bored kids are too.
Yeah.
Know?
We were bored.
Yeah.
But you'd see people like trying to shove their underwear all the way in the bottom,
Wow,
like
yeah.
move stuff around to get to the bottom so they couldn't find it.
That's
Grab
cool.
bag. Oh man.
But no, we didn't get our own clothes back.
See, that's
It
the
all
thing.
went into whatever it was, and we got the right or close to the right sizes. But no, there was no name on the actual clothes.
What?
It came in a bundle, so that somewhere they must have had our sizes and put together these bundle by size. But no, we didn't get our own underwear back. It didn't work that way.
That is crazy. That's absolutely
You're wearing
crazy.
somebody else's drawers every week. That's why my mama said that you wasn't going to wear the drawers no more because she could see that somebody else's name was on the drawers
Okay.
under the sticker. And my mother was like, no,
Yes.
no.
Thank
you
her
was
for that.
going with new
Yeah.
underwear. So my mom sent me with drawers. So I was
There
good.
you go.
My mind is blown right now.
Just
So,
sharing the
so
drawers.
yeah,
Well,
your
we
name
couldn't
was just
have
on the
our own
bundle.
clothes until, I don't know. Well, you could never wear your own clothes on campus.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But on the weekend, whatever you had.
Okay.
You know, clothes were hard to come by, too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
nobody had any money.
Different eras. Yeah.
I was very appreciative in junior school. We talked about this last episode that we had play clothes. That they gave me a shirt to play in, some jeans, and some sneakers. So yeah,
So
was the cobbler there?
We took our tie off after school. Yeah, those are our play clothes.
Yeah. No, we got to go in the playground. We had to go in the locker room and change,
Good.
and then
Yeah.
go out and play. Yeah.
Some of these things seem so simple and obvious, but it took a lot to get there.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the student court was gone because I got paddled for a number of
Oh,
years until they
geez.
stopped.
I'm
I think they stopped
disappointed to
paddling
hear
somewhere
that.
around 92.
Nah,
90?
nah. It was no paddling when I got there in 89.
Oh, well, I'm telling you, I got paddled in 9th grade, maybe even
You
10th.
probably deserved it. You
Yeah.
are a special case.
They dug a paddle out of the closet somewhere for
Nobody
this.
was still getting paddled but you, buddy.
Yeah. Rothfuss hit me with the he had it was like a chair leg. It was like a wooden chair
Ooh,
leg.
that's Rothfuss, though.
Yeah.
Rothfuss was a different
Ooh,
dude.
man.
He was
Yeah.
I mean, his best friend was Charles E. Beard, who had a paddle with Texas written across it.
Bro.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That just tracks.
A chair leg. Literally. Think about that. Everybody
Well,
out
I
there.
think about it now. These people will probably be
Oh, they'd
at
be in
least in
jail.
court or jail.
Yeah, they've been in jail. Yeah. It's I'm glad certain things aren't tolerated.
Yeah.
Striking kids with weapons is I mean, my mama with a belt is one thing, but like chair legs, paddles, I mean, it's a bit extra.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
weapons.
Thank you for listening to the Dorm Disorder Podcast. Until next time, lights out.